Dave here. How are you? Today is the 26th of May 2019 and the last show for autumn. Now there was something I was going to say as we were coming in, but you know, it's gone already. Anyway, I hope your week has been good, and there's been comment about lack of rain in Australia, or on the eastern states at least. It's terrible. This drought has been going for an awful long time. In the mountains here, we don't get much of a problem with that. You know, we're elevated. We catch the clouds as they go over. So feel a bit sorry for all the people that are struggling at this time. Now, today, another packed show. I trust everything's coming through. Thanks, Peter. Audio and video, all good. Thank you very much. On time. Right, Bat Channel. Okay, here we go. Salvage and antique dresser. I continue with the project. This is the dressing table, as I mentioned, that my great-grandfather had made for my mother, and it's progressing well. And I'm going to go through using the drum sander today, and that's probably going to be the main event. Then also I'm going to pop it up here, and the top. So this monstrous top here, we're going to put through the drum sander, and the drum sander isn't that wide. So if you've been interested about how that might work, keep watching. Also I'm going to hit it with some finishing oil as well. And I think I've got this thing nailed. While we're going through, sometimes you might hear me say something like, this show is going to be a cracker. Now, in Australia, cracker means the best, so good. Now, I understand that in other countries, it may have a derogative term. Well, that's not how I mean it. I've actually had people make comment on videos that I put out, you know, not good. Well, I'm sorry, but in Australia, that's what we say. And what else have we got here? 2 weeks to go for the Timber, Tools and Artisans show in Sydney. I hope everyone that won the tickets has received them so far. I've had 2 people get back to me and say, yes, they have. Actually 3 people, I tell a lie. And Paul Mumford put his hand up and said, Dave, I only need 1. Go to the next person down, which I did, and Steve Wallbank won the last one. There you go. And this week's winner of the eye muffs, I will tell you a little bit later on in the show, and what a prize we've got going out. Well, that's up for grabs this week, the JESSEM table saw stock guides. Now this is no small prize. These are fantastic. I use them a heap on my table saw, and because I'm a one-man band, they're brilliant for when I'm putting sheets of plywood through. They really look after the things at the other end. 8 feet away, I can't see what's happening down there, you know, these things. Anyway, the ticket arrived. Excellent, excellent. Watching from the USA, Leonard, coast of Maine, USA. There you go. Let me see, John's amazing CNC creation. I'll show you a little bit later on. Spiral up or spiral down. Now there's been a bit of discussion on Facebook. Derek put a post on regarding a box joint jig that he had made, and it looks like a great thing. And he's been using a standard 2 straight flute cutter, and he's been getting chip out. Now I use a spiral down personally. And to give you an idea of how it comes up, that's the kind of thing. I'll explain spiral down, spiral up, and compression cutters later on in the show as well. Dr. Greg had recommended using a spiral up. Oh, sorry. I use a spiral up. What am I talking about? I use a spiral up. Dr. Greg been referring to a spiral down. It's a shocker. Okay, what's the next thing? Support the channel through Patreon and Amazon links, because as I get older, I'm going to need a nurse. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off with the drum sander to start, because people like to watch what's happening. And you know, if you haven't used a drum sander like this, away we go. I'm going to raise it to the height that I want. Now, one of the important things when you're using a drum sander is, if you're doing anything at all, make sure the back is clean as well, because any little imperfections on the back of the piece of timber, it's going to ride up and over, and you're going to get really dodgy results. So I'll switch to this other camera over here. That's going to make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. I'll see that that one's working to start. Just do a quick thing. Dave, you never said anything mean about anyone. You are the best. Okay, John Luke, watching from the foot of your mountains. Food. Good morning, Dave and all. There you go. Hi, Dave Bills, g'day buddy, how are you? Now poor old Dave, he's probably feeling a little bit lonely because he's just left a company that he's worked for 10.5 years, and I believe he's got another position to go to. But Dave, let me just say, you're a champ, and I've really enjoyed the time that I've worked with you. We've had some silly nights as well, but I wish you all the best as you're going forward. Let me see if I can find this other camera. Second camera with chat, and we'll just tip this up a little bit. I want to get this part right before I do it. There we go. That'll be enough. I'll switch her over now. Eventually when this thing works. There we go. All right, there's the drum sander. I'm going to raise it to the right height. Up we go that way. Takes a little while. I'll tip that camera up and go back a little further. That's a bit better. All right, up and down. One of the things, you may be aware that I'm doing some videos for Carbotech, and they're not on my channel. I keep on telling people that. Push this back a little further. And one of the good things about this is that I'm actually having to read the instruction books on every machine I do a video on. And it was very fortunate that I've done that, because I was going to send this piece of timber through this machine, and I had my Festool dust extractor on the other side there, and I thought, oh, bad move. So I moved it out of the way. There you go. Move this over here. I just want to check I've got the right height. I'm going to pop that in there and just lower it down until it touches it. I'll keep doing this backwards and forwards until it's got it. Okay, that's starting to get it. I'll raise it up one full turn, should let me release it, and then I'll lower it down that turn. It's an easy way, isn't it? Raise that up again. There we go. All right. Quick read. Good timing. My next buy. It's just in security. Compression, the best of both worlds. Indeed, indeed. But the thing is, with compression bits, they're mostly designed for side work. You have a think about it. They're great for along the edge. Great for along the edge of something because it's lifting and pushing down. So I'm going to get a clean cut on the bottom and on the top. But going down, it's still a spiral up. So I'll get tear out. So, you know, for up and down, you know, this is a debate, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that. I was nearly going to put an ordinary pair of earmuffs on. I can't do that, seeing that, you know, someone who supports the channel so well with giveaways, the eye muffs, I'm going to use this one. First thing I'm going to do is continue talking at normal. Now I'm going to come down here. You want to listen to how good this dust extraction system is. You watch this. Listen down here. How's that? I love it. Just a standard 2-horse. And here we go. Are you scared? Oh, you know what? It always helps if you plug it in. Got it. There she goes. Let's see how we go. I'm going to turn her around. Now if you have a look, it just nipped a little bit here. that hasn't got anything else. That's so important when you're putting stuff through a drum sander, that you allow for high points. I'll turn the speed up a little. This is great. Okay. Just there, it was getting it, even though it doesn't look like it. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. Here we go again. I can hear it cutting now. It's not a thicknessing machine. That's the main thing to remember with these. It is purely a sander. Starting to get it more and more. Turn around, go the other side again. Just here, sanding here. This is something shouldn't be rushed at all. Okay, see there? Just there. Take it down another quarter of a turn. The other side again. This is going to be about another 5 minutes. If you want to duck off, I totally understand. I said duck. Sorry. There we go. Oh, I love it. I love watching it come through. Starting to get a result now. Look at that. Doesn't take too long. Now while I'm doing this part, it'll make a noise here. While I'm doing this part, I can afford to drop it down. Sorry, I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing here. So what's happening while I'm doing this part, I can afford to drop it down substantially because I'm only just going through little bits at a time. I'm taking the tops off. At the end, it's a good idea to run it through a few times at the one height. Remember, it is a sanding machine. It's not a thickness up. Knows it's going through now, doesn't it? Beautiful. That's just magic. So you heard it when it was going through at the beginning there. That was kind of bumping. If I'd gone more than a quarter of a turn, I would have been asking for trouble. I'm going to take it 1/8 of a turn this time. See how she's going? It's getting there. Not long to go now. More. This is going to be a big hit this time. Nearly there. I keep saying that, don't I? I think I might have broken the belt. Let's have a look. Raise her up a little bit. Let me have a look. Scary bears. Nope, all good. All good. That was just real. Yes, the belt's come off. It's. I was starting to get a fair bit of build up there of the finish that's on there. I'll show you. I'll pop another belt on, but not at the moment. I'll finish the rest off. See down here, this is a build-up of all of the resins that, and also the reset button here had popped up. So it had overheated. I was taking it too much at a time. I should have relaxed, so the thing just stopped turning. The conveyor belt was still turning. So there you go. I'll turn that around and we'll go to the orbital sander. I'll switch back up here. Now you've probably all been shouting out to me saying, Dave, I know what the problem is. Okay. I think 150 would have been faster. Yes, exactly right. But exactly as what Barry had said, nowhere near as flat. So I'm trying to make sure that this comes up very, very flat. Now you can see down here, it hasn't got to it. I'm going to hit this with the, yep, the overload's fine, exactly right. I'm going to finish this off with the ETS, and I'll do that in a minute. It's not going to be hard. It doesn't take long. But that's just something, I started to rush it a little bit because I thought you guys would all be falling asleep. Okay, cutting cross on the table. I could have removed the shellac first. Yeah, I guess I could have. Yep, it is. See, this is good for everyone to watch. I did that on purpose. Okay, what I will do is I'll show you. This is an original off the top, and this is a join that I've done down here. And this is the profile that I've managed to create, which was exactly the same as what Arthur had there. I've been trying to match, so this morning I was mucking around. I sanded this. Now have a look at that. Have a look at that side. That's straight off the drum sander with the same finish. If you don't sand down through the grits, you won't get that result. Now this is sanded to 4000 grit, and I've got one coat of Liberon finishing oil. Now this is not me promoting product. This is not being given to me. I'm like anyone else. I went and bought it. So I bought that. I bought this. So that's why I don't put any declaration when I'm doing this show. You know, if I buy something, why should I declare it? Anyway, there you go. That is really, really, really nice. And I think that is going to be fine. The grain is a little open still. Maybe a coat of shellac prior to the finishing oil, but I'm going to wax this at the end. We'll see how it goes. All right, coffee. You should clean the drum with a gum stick every few passes. Okay. Look, I'm all for it. You guys let me know what's going on as well. There's going to be people out there, believe it or not, that know more than I do. You know, stranger things. All right. I'm going to show you something else here. See in this one, just here, there's a little line. I've got my finger against the edge of it. I'll get the gloss happening on it. There. That's a join. That was a dirty big crack. See the crack down here? See this? This is glue and sawdust off that. Now this part here is a join. So that was off the front of the table. And you can see the join there easier when I hold it like that. And it's quite nice. I'm very happy with it. That piece of timber, ordinarily, it's only a thin strip. I would have thrown it away, but you know, if you can't get the wood from somewhere, well then you're going to be stuck. These trees are very, very rare now. I'm going to give you another tip with the Liberon. I call it Liberon because it's only got one B after the the vowel. So if it was double B, I would call it Liberon. But because there was only one B there, not a double B, the vowel is pronounced I instead of I. That's the same thing with capex. A lot of people, this is an interesting, this is a by the by. Capex, why, when there's only one P, is it not pronounced capex? Because everyone in the States and a lot of people in Australia call it a capex. The Germans call it a capex. That's how the rules for pronouncing it are in Germany. So when in Germany, do like the Germans do. It's a capex as far as I'm concerned. Another one that's interesting, in the States, just about everyone there calls the camera that I own a Nikon. It's not a Nikon, even though there's only that one K making it a standard vowel. It should be pronounced Nikon, but the Japanese can't say I, they can say I. It's that's how they pronounce it. It's been spelt for us to be able to, follow along. It's Nikon. That's how it works. All right, PVC plumber's pipe also does a great job of cleaning your belts. Thank you. There we go. Now, back from the grammar lesson. You'll notice with the Liberon, I nearly said Liberon. You'll notice with the Liberon, when you pour it on and put your first coat on, it looks fantastic. And then they say 10 minutes later, come back and give it a wipe down. Do that, but then also come back every half hour, because it will bleed out little dots of oil and you'll get these little deposits. So I just get a rag and rub over the whole lot again. And they say not to put a second coat on for 2 hours. So that looks magic. I'm really happy with this. So let me clean up one little corner on that top, and we'll have a look at how it comes up. Should I do that first or should I do some other things? Maybe I should do some other things. Let's talk about the spirals. I'm useless. Dave, did you check your email today? I have, Ken, and don't jump the gun. Yours is coming. Okay, so spiral up. This is a spiral up cutter. Now, for the uneducated, and that could be me at the same time, up, the direction of a spiral up is towards the router. So it will draw sawdust towards the router. Now, if the router is upside down in a router table, it is still a spiral up, even though it's pulling the dust down into the router. It's not a down situation, it is a spiral up still. Now, a spiral down looks like this bad boy. Notice the other direction in the flute. As the flute is cutting and it's turning clockwise, when it's mounted into the router, it's turning clockwise, and those cutters are forcing the dust away from the router. It's pushing it toward the bottom. Now that's great for if I'm using it for doing a small trench. Not a deep trench, but a small trench. If it's a small deep trench, then it's going to clog everything down there. I prefer to go the other way. And this one is what's called a compression cutter. So the compression cutter actually is a spiral up, right down at the tip at the nasty end where you don't want to touch. And as it comes back to the machine, it's a spiral down. Now that cutter is basically designed for doing edges. So you would set the bottom of the router cutter down around about 2 or 3 millimeters below the bottom of the edge you're cutting. And the rest. So it's cutting the fibers up at the bottom and pushing them down at the top and giving you very, very clean, crisp edges. Now, the discussion came up because of box joints. Now, these are box joints that I've been making. Now, I use a spiral up. The reason being, let's say I've got the router above. It'll make it easy for you to understand. As the cutter is turning, it's lifting up to the router, which means it's going to draw away from this base here. And that's the edge that's going to be on the inside. There, I'm not going to get any chip out down there. The outside doesn't really matter too much. The reason being, it's going to get sanded. Once you've done it, let's sand it up, and that's all there is to it. So this was all brought about by Derek putting a post on Facebook regarding a jig that he'd made and using just a straight flute cutter, which will destroy the edges of a box joint. You won't get any clean cutting at all. These are shearing, straight cutters are chopping. All right, in which spin direction? Clockwise. Okay. All right, I think I said that. Let me see, what's the next thing? Okay, now Ken's in the corner. He wants everyone to have a quick look at what he's been doing, and so I'll switch this over to there. And Ken sent me in this photo, which I encourage all of you to do. Ken, I only got the one photo, I didn't get two. And he says, "Hi there, Dave. Here's my new Lego table I've been working on with the help of the local men's shed that I go to, as I don't have the space to make something this big in my garage." This photo is the section 1 and 2 being installed, as the legs had to be put on after the table frame was in the room. I'm going to start working on section 3 sometime this week. Now this is great because Ken, as you know, Ken Wheels has got is most of the time in a wheelchair, and he just needs something to be able to do. So Lego is a perfect thing for him. He lets him build, and also he's got his other tools there as well that he gets into, and just enjoys himself. Why not? Just because he's in a wheelchair doesn't mean that he's not going to enjoy the same kind of things that anyone who's an able-bodied person enjoys. I reckon it's great. Looks fantastic, Ken. What's the next one? Let's do the next one while we're here. We've got, let me see, have I got it here? I should, Malcolm, here we go. Now I'm going to show you this picture, as again, I'm going to have a quick read. Don't forget to help Dave out with thumbs up. Oh, thank you. All right, here we go. I'm going to throw this picture over. Hi, Dave. Hello and thanks. I'm a retired design and technology teacher in Queensland. Because I like tinkering, since retiring, among many and other varied things, I have spent time in my shed. I decided the time had come to sort it out, because I know I have some of these, but where are they? So I buy some more, and then I find the others. I've been looking at ideas and came across your YouTube. Just watched your 2018 workshop tour and thought, yep, that's it, I need one of those. Please don't laugh at the attached photo. This is the one that I'm showing everyone at the moment, because it's not always like this. I've been taking things off shelves, etc., and at the moment have lost the floor of the shed. I now have spare shelves to put some of the equipment in that currently sits on the bench. It's slowly coming together, I think, anyway. Your videos on mobile roll-around carts is one thing I need to do, as my camper trailer needs to go in the shed as well. I particularly like your multi-function screw box, table, Watsy benchtop thingo. Question, where do you store, house, or display whatever your hand tools are, assuming you have some? Did I miss it in the walk around? Back to the shed, time to find the floor. Thanks. That was from Malcolm. Thank you very much for sending that in, Malcolm. I do have hand tools. I've got a lot of hand tools. I normally keep them in drawers, and I think you'll probably see one of the, you can see I've got a fair few hand tools. Back on this side behind the bandsaw. I mostly keep them in the drawers because, I rifle around in those. I think in that tour I probably just said that's my junk drawer. Well, that's where my hand tools go to, and I just dive in and grab whatever I need. I have more of them now in this assembly table, which is fantastic. I'm trying to slowly get organized. Now, on that point, Malcolm inspired me to have a quick look at some photos as my workshop has been getting together as well. Now, this is out in the garage. Before I came across the CNC machine, and it has started turning into a junk room. All good intentions. I had timber racks up on the walls and Dexian racking, pallet racking there to put things on. But as you walk into a shed, you look at it and you think, oh, I've got to put this down somewhere. So you look for a clear space. Next thing you know, it becomes a magnet for all the other junk. And so, what I did was I spent time. I was ruthless, and I threw a lot of stuff out, and I relocated a lot of stuff. And if you saw the video when I was preparing the room, you'll see that shelves and what have you, I saw as just a holding bay for when things, until they get thrown out. And I worked at it and worked at it, painted and ground the floor and put a finish on the floor, cleaned the racks up, put the CNC, put some decent lighting in, and now this is the difference. And it took a long time. I didn't have Rumpelstiltskin or someone like that just come in and say, well, look, there you go, Dave. Look at that, I fixed this for you overnight. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort and determination. And I had to get inspired to actually do it. And when CNC Router Parts got in touch with me and said, Dave, we're interested in you doing some stuff with the CNC, that inspired me big time. So I spent the time and hooked in and got it all done. Okay, Steve, do you need a shipping container? That's a great idea, Stephen. Okay, I have a friend in NZ who is in a wheelchair. Nonetheless, he rides a modified two-wheel motorbike and races cars. He base left. Oh, that's fantastic. Rod Potts, cheers, Dave. Just like last week in a tornado warning. I heard about people being killed over there by these tornadoes. Yeah, that's the other thing. Paul's got it right on the head there. Paul Angus just said, if you're happy about walking in, I had someone made a comment about the CapEx last week, and he said, you know, obviously nothing happens in your workshop. Well, a lot happens in here. But I explained to him, it's just, I tidy up every night. When I walk out of this room, if it's not all put away and tidy, I don't like walking in here the next morning. That's all there is to it. I walk in here in the morning and I get this smile on my face, and I even say hello to the workshop. I say, hello. We're going to do some fun things today. And that's what it's like, you know, rather than walking in and going, oh, I've got to clean this mess up one day. All depends on how inspired you are. All right, what's the next thing? Malcolm and Ken I've talked about their things, and we've talked about the spiral up, spiral down. 2 weeks to go to the Timber Tools and Artisans show. I will be going there with John Lafferty. John will be taking his dogs, if he's not in hospital. Poor bugger, he's in and out of hospital all the time. So look, come along and see him, because, you know, it'll be one of the rare events where he's actually out of hospital. It'd be good to say good day to him and have a look at the things that he's doing and all of his new stuff that his brain is always going. I love it. Looking at your old videos compared to today has inspired you. Yeah. Look, I've got really, really old videos when I was out in the garage before I'd finished cleaning this room up here. This was a mess. I had racking in here. There were no walls. There was no lighting. I had, this just used to be a timber store. And I thought, like, after I finished building a house, I'd bring the timber back here, take it to the next house. And then I put the lighting in, I lined all the walls with soft sheet, because it's nice and cheap and it's inert. It's not going to be worried about dampness if it gets wet. Laid a plywood floor over the old concrete slab, elevated it, built the cabinets, painted all the walls white, put reverse cycle air conditioning in here, bit at a time. Took me 7 years. I love it. Alrighty. Spiral up, down, da-da-da-da. Look, how about we get into sanding that top? Why not? I'll probably lose a whole heap of people watching now, but it's not going to be terribly long to do it. I could replace the paper in that, but I'm not going to. Do you bolt your thicknesser down? Do you mean the thicknesser or the drum sander? I've got the drum sander held down by clamps on this particular thing here. The thicknesser over there, I haven't got it bolted down yet because I'm still in the process of working out which mobile cart I want to leave it on. I've got to build some more of those carts. And I have the drill press bolted down onto the one over the back there, and that's fantastic. Alrighty. Clean shop is safe shop and always proud to open its doors and get stuck into any project. Exactly right. And they are good for the old ones for reference. Sander. Here we go. Grab this. Too much talking. Otherwise I'll be accused of a talking head again. But honestly, come along to the show because it should be good fun. All right. Now, I'm going to use the ETS and I'm going to use 120 grit paper because I think the 120 will take it out pretty quickly. This is just Reuben. And I've got the hard head on it. No, the pad. If it's blue for Festool, it's hard, which means it's perfect for flat surfaces. The thicker the pad, the more it's going to be for shaping. Alrighty, that on there. Line the holes up. And also I've turned the dust extractor down. That's one little tip that you guys I'll give you now. If you have your dust extractor turned on too powerful, it's going to pull this down hard onto the job and give swirling marks everywhere. So you need to have it not grabbing it too hard. All right, I'm going to start sanding this. Andrew, yes, I will be in tomorrow. I do 1 day a week for them down there at the moment because I'm trying to do my videos and trying to do videos for those guys. And I'll see you at the show at Canberra. Yes, that's great. All right, lovely, good point. I need geometry construction clock. All right, here we go. Maybe not. I haven't got it plugged in, or it isn't turned on. One or the other. Yep, not turned on at the PowerPoint because I'm a very good boy. Okay. On the Instagram post that I put out, I said, have some fun. Maybe it'll all go to rubbish. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to tip the camera down just a little bit. Sorry, Zoe. There we go. You can see what's going on. Now, see, that's taking a little while. I did hear someone mention a Rotex. How about we do that? We'll get the Rotex out. Again, blue pad. And I'll throw some 80 grit paper on it. So we shall get into it quite quickly. 180, 180, 180. Come on, where are you? 80 grit. You've got to be there somewhere. What's that? It's 120 granite, which might actually be better. Granite tends to, it's a ceramic abrasive. Unplug from there and plug him into there. Undo that. Put her in geared mode. See that? Here we go. This is going to be quick. Bring her along and see what happens. starting to get a build up on the paper again. So I'll take that one off and I'll throw that ribbon back on wherever it went to. And that's 120 grit paper. If I had 80 here, I'd do it with that. So I started gliding around, it was just polishing there. You might want to turn the sound down again, because we'll hook in. That's better. I'm going to make it really interesting for you guys. I'll switch it over to Carl Cam so you can see it better. The other thing is, notice I haven't got it clamped. The cushion strips on the Stanton bench are grabbing it. See these things here? It's not going anywhere. It's not too bad. A little bit of build up there. Watch over here. See again, we're getting that build up. more build up again. I'm going to do one little bit more with the 120, then I'll just take it down through the grits quickly, because this is the part. This is the part that's important. This is all the hard work. That stain that's there has been there as long as I can remember on this thing. I think I've got just about all of the finish out. I'm going to leave this till the last. So I'll give it one run over the whole lot. That's going to do me. Now you watch this part. Hardly anything on my hand. That's amazing. The dust extraction on these things is fantastic. Now I'm going to take it off the Rotex and I'm going to put it back onto the little ETS5. Pop that over there. Get this bad boy back. And I'm going to go to 180 grit. No, 220. Let's go to 220 straight away. This is a bit of 220. Let me see if I got another bit of 220 over here. Yep. Normally I'd work through the grits a little bit more. But, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Alcohol will reactivate shellac, then you can wipe some off, but you will still need to sand or scrape off. Okay. No varnish. No varnish. It's going to be oiled. Here we go. I'm going to hit it with the this little guy now. Notice I'm not absolutely flying with this. I let the sander take its time. See that join that after it's done in the top? Not a bad job, eh? These holes aren't an issue. They're mounting points, so I'm not going to fill those. I just noticed the comment there regarding I love sanding. So do I. It's a very satisfying thing for me as I go through, I sand and I look at it and go, how nice. The timber's just revealing itself. I love seeing the grain just popping. This part's a whole lot quicker. That's beautiful. That, even now, that feels glassy. You can see a bit of a sheen just over here. You can see the sheen starting to come up on it. So that's 220. Next one I'm going to go to is 500. What do we got here? That's 120. What do we got over here? 220, 500. This is it. I'm going to take it to 4,000. And you'll see it doesn't take long. This might be boring for a lot of you. And, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going to stay here till probably past today. So if you want to watch, I'm going to put oil on it. It'll all be done in half an hour. So if you want to watch, chat in the chat, that's fine. Let me flick this over to the other camera. Down here. Okay. Again, if you want to nick off, that's fine. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to turn the stream off. I'll let it go until I've got the oil on here, and you will be amazed at how this is going to pop. You know, it's just absolutely beautiful. But as I said before, the difference, if I left it rough sawn, or sorry, almost rough sawn, out of the belt sander, the drum sander, it doesn't really glow. It's only when you take it to 4,000 I get that kind of result. And you can watch this happen if you're interested. As I say, I'll flick the, go back to Carl Cam and transmission it back up to there. I've got to have some coffee as well because it's a bit dry. Here we go. You're going to stay here, are you, John? Beautiful. 500 grit. So what's happened there? Stuart's had something happen with the router. I'll read all these things later on. Now, why am I going to 4,000? On the thing from Liberon, they say to go to 1,200 or 1,500 prior to putting the oil on. And I understand why. Same with hard burnishing oil. It's a similar kind of thing. You want to go as fine as you can. I'll show you the duckbill in a second, guys. Let me just finish this sheet. Feels like glass. Okay, so Dave, you want to know what the duckbill is? This is the duckbill. See this guy here? It goes on the front of the Rotex, just there, and there, because the Rotex gets quite warm. There we go. So I can hold the Rotex now like that instead of on top of here. This gets hot. If you really work this machine hard, that gets hot. There gives you better balance. It lets you evenly distribute weight there and there. These things come with a handle that goes in the side like an angle grinder, and I find that I tend to wear into one corner and it's just rubbish. But this thing's fantastic. Put that over there. Alrighty, so I'm down to 500. Let's get on to 800 grit now. Where are we? 800 almost looks like tissue paper, doesn't it? But it still cuts. Okay, here we go again for 800. Look at that. I've got to work that harder. That's from the drum sander. This is where it all starts to reveal itself. See here, I've got some more work to do there. So I've got some work there to do, and a bit there. The rest of it's looking really good so far. Got a bit over here to do as well. Okay, I've got to go back to a coarser grit. I'm going to go back to the 220 to do this area here. Can you see it? Merkers are a lovely machine as well. There we go. That should have got rid of those marks for me. 220 go back to 500. Okay, so hopefully I've got it back to a point now where I can go to the 800 again, which is over here. And I'll tell you what, this granite paper lasts and lasts and lasts. Don't use the mesh. Granite mesh, don't use it on timber. I found that that's not great. I like it on timber if I'm cleaning paint off, or on plaster. Works fantastic. See it again? It's still showing it. This part's not going to worry me too much. It's underneath the drawer unit. And honestly, that part's not going to worry me too much either. When the oil goes on, that'll disappear. Okay, that's just about it for the granite. Next I'm going to use platen. It's kind of it's a pad that's this one they use for stonework, for bench tops. So I've got 1,000, 2,000 and 4,000. There we go. We've only got to 800 so far. All right, this is platen. This is a 1,000. Whoop, up here. This is a 1,000, and it's like a sponge. And you can use this wet or dry. I think I only use it dry because I love the fact that I'm not wearing any dust mask. Oh, it feels so nice. I love it. Here we go. You know, for the last 5 or 6 weeks we've been having people round. Well, let's talk, have a chat while I'm doing this, it's boring us. And so we've decided to try and get back in touch with our kids and other people that we haven't seen for a long time, because our life has been so busy, and now at this stage it's starting to quieten down. We thought we'd like to re-establish ties with a lot of people. So rather than have all the family around, like all of the kids in one hit, we invite one kid and their family, because they're all married and got children. And it's so much easier to find out what's going on, because you're not trying to catch up with everyone in one go. And you find also the kids tend to be more relaxed, because there's no sibling peer pressure. But we haven't got anyone today, so it's a nice quiet day, because last week has been so busy trying to get videos out. So I got that one on the Sorby Pro Edge, which, well, I'm going to 2,000 now. This is 2,000 pattern. I'm going to go up to a 4,000 in a minute. Here we go. So, no rush today to finish the show and get out the door. You wait till the oil goes on. You think this looks nice? You wait till the oil goes on. It's absolutely beautiful. And other friends, you know, that we haven't seen for years. Nothing like a Sunday roast to do that stuff. So this particular sander that I'm using at the moment is called an ETS5. It has a 5mm stroke. When you go above 400 grit, you really should go to a 3mm stroke. It's not as aggressive. I do have the little RTSC, which is a 2mm stroke, which would probably be ideal, but I haven't got any pads for this size, and even though I could use it, it would be a bit slower than this, and I think this will be just fine. Catch up on the chat. You'd have your eye muffs on all this time. All right, you want to know who won? Wait till I finish this coat, or this grit, and I'll tell you who won. The thing with the Pro Edge is life is busy, and it's for everyone. Life is bloody busy, and no one really has the time to learn a new product, and that's where I walk in the door. It's my job to learn the product anyway, so while I've done that, I may as well share it with you. If you decide to go and buy it, that's your call. Nothing to do with me. I just want to make sure that you're well informed on your decision if you decide to go that way. This is absolutely beautiful. Let me switch the cameras around. You can see, look at the gloss on here already. Look at that over there. You watch as I raise it up. I've still got another grit to go. You want to know who won? You want to know who won? Let me see if I can remember. Okay, international competition, same as the one that's on at the moment. It's an international competition for the table saw stock guides from JESSEM. Now, the eye muffs, if your initials are RC, you're in with a chance. If you live in the States, you also have a chance. Well, that's where it told me that you live. And let's cut to the chase. Rowan Coughlin, you are the winner, buddy. So thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to keep going. If you decide you want to nick off now that you know that you haven't won, that's fine. I totally get that. But I'm going to one more lot of sanding with a 4,000 grit, and this thing will absolutely pop. and then I'm going to pour the Liber and oil on it, and you will be absolutely stonkered. Okay, here we go. Going to switch cameras back to Carl Cam again, like so. We'll take the 2000 grid off and put the 4000. It's insane, isn't it? Who does that? Who does that? Oh, also with the Sorby Pro Edge, I sharpened this. Now this is the Stanley. Let me see if I can put it there. The Stanley, black-handled Stanley, and this is sharp. Watch. This is my run sheet for today. You watch this. That's done with the Pro Edge. Absolutely beautiful. Congrats with hearing protection this time. Do you want me to put hearing protection on? All right. All right. We'll do that. I've got hearing protection on. Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. The oil results will happen. I'm going to switch it back over to the other camera so everyone can see how it works. There you go. PP. I'll come down low. I've got 4000 grid on here. Look at that shine coming up. Doesn't compare to any of those, Jim. This is Australian cedar, so it would compare to Western red cedar. A little harder than that. Nowhere near as hard as those. This is a very, very soft hardwood. Okay, so you remember, actually cedar would be a softwood. You remember what the difference between a softwood and a hardwood got nothing to do with how dense or how heavy, specific gravity, any of that stuff, got nothing to do with any of that. Rule of thumb, if it's a conifer, it's a softwood, because all conifers have pine cones, and that leads me on to the next thing. All hardwoods flower. Softwoods do not have a flower. Pine cones are not considered a flower. Okay, a cherry tree is a hardwood that has flowers. All fruit trees, citrus, hardwoods, they all flower. Balsa wood, hardwood. Cypress pine, softwood, even though it's very dense. Again, I've got the dust extraction turned down a little so that I'm not pulling the machine onto the job and leaving swirlies everywhere. But how nice is this looking? I've even got a little bit of figure here. And that should pop when I put the oil on. I was a bit of an idiot with the drum sander not stopping and having a look at the resin build-up and the shellac build-up. I should have done that. That machine's a great machine. I love it. It saves a lot of work. You know, the only thing I'd change about it, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, the only thing I'd change about that machine, let me finish this and I'll tell you. That's it. We're sanded. Okay, the only thing I'd change about that drum sander is the conveyor belt. I would have a 120 grit sandpaper conveyor belt instead of the plastic. The reason being it gets a grip and pulls through. But on the other side of the coin, being a nice soft surface, you're not going to damage the surface when you turn it upside down. Okay, get a brush. I had a brush here earlier, didn't I? Because I was telling everybody to brush the back off. Oh, look at that. Look at the shine on that. Ah, that's beautiful. There it is. I'm going to give it a quick brush. Okay. tell me which way you want the cameras, guys. I'm going to pour the oil on and rub it in. Do you want the camera from here or do you want it from up above? First person to put a comment in, that's how we'll go. Yep. Ah, this is the timber. Yeah, that's the timber. It's nothing else. Speed setting on the ETS at the moment, Stephen, is 4.5. Oh, this is beautiful. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this. The reason being, I want to make sure I pull all the dust out of the grain as well. Carl Cam, leave as is. Well, Jim was first. John, you're still there. Here we go. Going to turn it up. You like the Bluetooth? I love the Bluetooth. You know, that's why I've got this clamp up the top here. It's a great thing for holding on to things. Okay, to make everyone happy, I'm going to do half and half. I'm going to pour the oil on, and then I'm going to distribute it a bit from this angle, and then we'll go above. Oh, okay. So I'm going to use the Libron oil. They say to use a lint-free rag, and they're probably right, but I don't have any. So I'm going to use some paper towel because I've got plenty of that. I'm going to have a bit of coffee. Again, I bought this. Okay, just the one. You excited? I am. Aren't we weird? We're weirdos. Who likes this kind of stuff? It gives me such a buzz. Alrighty. Interesting. Am I a bastard? Interesting thing. If you turn the can sideways like that and lift, all the product is still in here, so you can get out past the edge. See that? It's not pouring it. If I was to tip it, whoa, so that way it gets on the rim here. It's ugly. So you go to the high point. Oh, can you see it? Can you see it? I'll do this end, and then I'll go to Carl Cam. This is absolutely glorious. Just spread it out equally and we leave it soak. I'll go up to Carl Cam. Where is it? That's why I didn't want to rush it. Just like Wayne had said earlier, I wanted to make sure that it got all of the attention that it deserved. Put a bit more on, not too much more. Now, here's the thing. This oil is what's called exothermic, which means when I've finished with this rag, with this paper towel, I'm going to take it outside and throw it on the lawn and let it dry out. The other thing I could do is I could saturate it and put it in a tin. Exothermic means it will self-combust. There is the possibility of it self-combusting. Happy days, happy days. Just making sure I've got an even distribution of oil there. you know what? That, I haven't sanded enough. I'm going to have to sand that back out again later on when it dries. That's still a mark from the belt sander, from the drum sander. So I will have to cut that in with the Rotex to get rid of that. There we go. So now what I do is I let it sit there for 10 minutes. I'll come back to the other camera if I can. Switch it back over to there. All right. So now I leave it sit here for 10 minutes to absorb, and then I give it another rub. And then over the next hour or two, when it starts to dry, you'll get these tiny little dots. It looks like little drops start forming. It's where it's gone into the timber. The timber has swollen the pores, the grain, and it pushes it back out here and there. So that needs to happen for a few hours, and then I can put another coat on in 5 hours time. I might do that before bedtime. Anyway, that is an area I could leave, but you know what? I'm not going to. I will sand that out. I'll do it properly. All right. Let me have a quick look here. Carl Cam is better. Yes, Chris, it does. It is. You reckon Arthur would be happy with this, Wayne? Looks, he would be very. Thank you, Martin. Little comments like that mean a lot to me. You know, it's just me in the shed having fun. What have we got? I think that's going to do it, guys. It's been a long show, and we've had a little bit of fun. You've gone on a little bit of learning curve with me as far as the drum sander is concerned. I know not to push it, but John's comment there about cleaning the top with metho first and pulling the shellac up, great idea. I should have done that. I thought I might have got away with it, but it didn't want to, and then pulled the Rotex out. And for anyone who's interested in the duckbill, there it is. You know, it makes a hell of a difference. I think that might do us for today. I'm going to have a look at the little schedule here. We've been here for half an hour longer. Why not another 5 minutes? Okay, Stanton bench upside down. That was the other thing I was going to talk about. If you're interested, I'm going to leave this sit here because it's just beautiful. Now, if I noticed someone was saying the other day that with the bench, they were using it to cut timber, and the cushion strips were actually hindering him because he couldn't pull the timber along to get that last little bit. You know, you wanted to sneak it along a millimeter, and I totally get that. So what you can do, and it's dead easy, just take the apron off, undo the front legs, or undo all the legs, take the apron off, turn the bench upside down, put the legs in from the top, turn it up the other way, and you have no cushion strip on the other side. So that's an easy way to do it. If you find that's happening, or if you find that maybe the particular timber you're working on is getting a little bit of a mark from the cushion strip, turn it up the other way and don't use it. So there you go. Drum sander, 1/6, 1/32 per quarter turn. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let the finish sit that long. I wipe it off almost immediately. I'm just working on what the can tells me to, Peter. It says leave for 10 minutes. So, it's even starting to reveal itself to me now. This, instead of being high gloss, this will go to a kind of a satin slowly. All right, guys, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I'm sorry that I went over time. You've got it upside down for now, not for routing. 116 people still watching. Get alive, get alive. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep on coming back. Watch the videos. What I've been doing as well is at the end of, after this video will sit for about half an hour to an hour, I monetize the end of it. So it's not at the beginning of the video. So what happens is you come in clean, you watch the whole show. What I ask you to do is just let it keep running, let an ad run at the end. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to. It is getting richer, isn't it? It's just beautiful. Thanks, Ken, for sending that in to me. I'll look forward to receiving that. Anyone else who's got pictures of your shed or doing silly things. Now, I did a silly thing this morning. I want you to share a silly thing with me. All right, don't go yet. This is a silly thing I did this morning. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this. Old toothbrushes. When I've got a toothbrush that's absolutely stuffed and I don't use it anymore, I leave it in the bathroom, just to the side a little bit, and I use it to clean around the taps. Where it's really hard to get around the taps. A toothbrush is brilliant for cleaning around the taps. This morning I wasn't quite awake. I grabbed the wrong stupid toothbrush. Cleaning away, and halfway through I realized, and I thought, oh, this isn't good. I kept going. I thought, what the hell? Damage is already done. So I need you guys to send me in something silly that you've done that you haven't really told anyone else about yet. But you can share it with us because we won't tell anyone. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great week. I've got to find this one here. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Whoop, transition.